This is Philip Lawrence Sherrod, poet, and a book that was published in 1985 is this one, front cover, and the back cover is this. That's the original covers, so you make sure that you get the original first edition copies if you can. I'm going to read to you the second post of Sex Icon, a Blue Poem. The dedication is for my son, Sandro Argentino Mateos. Blood is blood, and love is questionable, but nobility it is forever. And it's for all young men who deal the intrepidation of dealing with blue women. The book was published in 1985, ISBN number 0-93826-00-5. Library of Congress card. Catalog number is number 84-73341, typeset in Prestige 1012. It's a first edition. It was published by Carousel Publications Incorporated, Springfield, New Jersey, and printed by Milburn Press, 20 Main Street, Milburn, New Jersey. And it was a printing of a typeset. The second post, the first post had 1 to 27 poems before I became exhausted. The second post has 27 to 54, and I said poems, I meant pages, because it's one blue poem. But 27 to 54 pages is the second post, of which is being read now as the spoken word. In peace we hold our hands, and in war, to the star-spangled anthem. She pyramided 9 like a sphinx, indexed to parable trauma of the city llama. Pirouetted and diametrically opposed the links, backpacking at best, her lipstick stuck, and in death an age-old story. Always tragic, the New Jersey witch of minks loved her poet without any kinks, and methinks stinks, still thanks, no end to this star-crossed love story. And love story in no variable, and I, X'd out, parable. Let's get serious and more delirious. Riff-raff in conversation. America wants you, baby. In undulation without or with or without your bra. As vice president, maybe hard-nosed Italian, in Ophelia and querulous, resident in nice resuscitation. And enough is enough. I heard the buzzing sound, bees round my head about to faint, her form disappearing as if in vapor. What dimension, Blake or Caper, could I be seeing things stone dead, found to be mystical ground by saint? No, you are not religious, she said. But the UFOs, saucer-flying plate and spoons over Hopewell wheat fields, the painter McIndoe, instead of Van Gogh, carted them off to Bellevue. Opie gets well. He can't be trusted. Sees object the size of pencil, not red-legged hawk, I object. But you were drinking when he told that story. But you were drinking, and elevators all go up, which leads me to say the tunnel gets longer without the light. But you were drinking, and elevators all go up and down as the white flower catches the dew, right? I could not answer. Petals strewn in cup, like some ceremonial ashes. Even the best of ashes or flowers don't last forever. But the UFOs, I thought you forgot about it. Showers that day about 2:30 p.m., which means McIndoe was still painting his wheat fields in wildflowers. Me disgusted. Objects thrown by irate farmer's wife. Away do you pledge allegiance to strife, to my flag, my wife. You mean flowers? Yes. I am only yours, and it's anyone's guess, as anyone knows. Flowers don't last forever. I'll paint my nails and the petals clever at that time. Seeing the couple walk into the sunset, finger given the finger absolute in confidence. Sunball red, light bulbs of another color. Sun going down in confidence, between her legs the nickel and the dime. Crime the stage of confidence. Crime the obvious order of another world, moon full and deviously unstable. Kiss my, if you are dollar able, kiss my and lick my toes, girl. Kiss my talent in total confidence. Kiss my and your imagination. By this time the white flower turned blue and purple, green like grass, her upside down and laughable. I'll never do this again. I've never done this, or the like of crime. It feels so good, like it, and I'm affable. The white flower eternally is baffable. He looked into the sunset, and they bit the dust like Indians, one flower after one flower. Time had reclaimed the untouchable beauties. Duties claim only as genius or genus species of the night. Nightingale of song's power rang true, gold dust nipped in the bud. How crude, how cruddy this power of moonlight. How cruel this girl playing me for a fool. And the images ran rampant in dream like water in lake of Overholster near Hoover Dam. Moonlight flickering off the water, romantic and sentimental as potbowler's sham. Damn the likeness, technique, rendering girl sits in moonlight, killer sneaking up, gun in hand, and if he had shot, the picture faded away. Believe it or not, Mr. Cathcart found his flashlight still on, shot. Duracell batteries don't go psycho. They never found the body. The police went loco. Stay away from the flower. Crime of wisteria, it seems, petals disintegrating into dream. Memory is worse than reality. You can call me when you get in, no matter what time, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock p.m., flowers last forever. Is that so? I can never remember the time you kept yelling Lone Anna Taka. The look on their faces. Ha ha, I never, but you did, as in life. No, I did not. Appearances can be deceiving, like in Rembrandt's Dr. Tulip's anatomy lesson, the scissor cutting the tendon. The shock looked on their faces, relieving the bladder, batter the blood, the knife. The angry man in the head knows only insane laughter. The clown, the recipient of the elephant ring, catches cold. Before the pig, the mouse, the white snows fall indiscreetly, and often the fife sings and the white lemon marches into the sea's slaughter. But Dr. Tulip's anatomy lesson, none of the petals were missing. The invertebrate, the botulociliate, animal versus flower, you were guessing. The good news is flowers last forever. The bad news is nothing lasts forever. I paused, she was crying, I was dying to tell her. Love lasts forever. Blue child from Elizabeth, hair lisping and hair split in Lilith. The fable, the enigma. But Warren Moon has thrown for 3 touchdowns. I don't care about Warren Moon. What about Dr. Tulips, you goon? Purple petals, pink petals, yellow petals, red petals, green petals, black petals, gray petals, gold petals, silver threads among the gold. Don't count your horses before you kiss or ride them. White petals, don't count your eggs before you hatch, miss, or side with them. White petals. She at that point looked disgusted. Cream de la creme, cream of the crop, dream, superior Sicilian stallion green, and wet behind her ears, tears, her own waterfall, downfall, bittersweet green. I want you, Miss Scallion. Garlic and Gaelic of taste from bottom to top, garlic of song. I cannot stop. She was at that point disgusted. But what about Dr. X? Tell me again how his hand shook, look, and he was interested in your deflowered mind, abstracted to your dancing wallflowered mind. Rose or Venus, flytrap, she said. Yes. And mind your manners of the poem, or the form, uncouth barbarian. She lowered her heavy eyes, large like tattoos, black and heavy bruises from another love. Dove of white peace, forgive me, move your lips towards me. Another day, another dollar. They waited for him in squalor. I've a mind to, and you're well read. Leave, she said, me glad in bed. But before I go, what about Dr. Tulip's anatomy lesson? I said. Marking time. She said biography is on the 5th floor. You are not allowed to score here. Me thinking graffiti, garrote, giraffe, queer. Me singing at top of voice in falsetto, mimeography. Me singing at top of lungs, grit and shit. Opening wine faces and miasmic overlay of who's kidding who. Pictures of and in dismay, conventional dead overtones of bad sentiment. Wally walking up to and saying, how do you like them? Apple charade. Me waving my wine glass, exultating, exalting to Lady Poseidon or Lady Laid Poseidon, ring of Neptune and trident. But we get over our petty remembrances, diaphanous overlays of reality, transparent and translucent. Whose goose kisses the golden egg? If I had done it different, in macho maleality, optic illusory images and obtuse opulence, optically hallucinating, I must not beg, her hair so full of last time I saw her. I always had a way of telling stories, perhaps, maybe untrue, her head downcast and blue. Well, I always told a story, a bald-faced lie. It's better that way. Don't ask me why. Well, I told the truth. If my mind didn't lapse, time was my mistress, my muse. She didn't stir or move. She didn't talk to me for 1 year. This October, like the wind, harpsichord playing songs, reverberated to art blows her inconsistent winds against our out forehead against our chins. Like in disguise in death, has no equal flowers growing on her hill of discontent. Her voice low, in malcontent, dark, tall, sentinel facades, handsome and silent and macabre, towers of the island. Manhattan flowers strewn at random. Tower of Babel in tandem. How many have gone before us? I could not say or care. Sitting patiently at the keyboard, composing 3 sonatas to my liking, like di nota. The dark note, the light note, the Italian note, the note in between the note, without the note, denotes my patient muse with white flower, inner air, and board I could not play. The trumpet. The boys convinced me to change from clarinet in the 2nd grade to a man's instrument with wind to blow. I lost interest, could not read any notes of the trumpet, but the notes did connote sonorously. I could not take dictation, my obsession, from any man in elation. She said shades of Mozart. I said sperm well off the bulwark, but I could not take notes. So I contradict Whitman myself. They are stupid, strap-hanging like monkeys, bodies at random, monkey see, monkey do, hear no evil, saw no evil, do no evil do. What you like to, you punkies? The subway another way, to extradite oneself, incoherent, babbling headline plunging to a star. He hung on mercifully. Eyes glazed, car swinging, as Eliot said, ape car swings along his sex, nonchalantly misquoted, of course. But apropos, well, ape anyway. A pit in the pendulum, Arapaho scalp hanging reminds me of Buster Custer. Some friend of yours, she said. Yes, I said, with apparatus criticus, developed after detail, race hung in front of nose, bitch versus detective. What if you solve the case? The honking of the horn, secretary fired, and selective, no corrective goals, energy runs out, foo, don't take your work home with you. She never heard me again, but she never learns. The moon has her dominion, 'tis not a matter of truth over opinion. Always creating problems, working on the negative, reaching no conclusion over superlative positive, which goes to show the red nose leaves blood tracks of snow and song in snow. She never listened. What if you solve the case, Ms. Sherlock? What if the whole human race cannot stand up to your badgering? If the make fits wear it like capitals in moral get-up or shut-up, in matrimonial wedded warlock of the word no goes breeds contempt of the bigot. But the moon favors change. Haze, softly pliant, full-faced, in dreamy client, she looked at me in dark. What about marriage in Asbury Park? You can sit with me among the green dragon's dung seat, and he, the preacher, riding black stallions, meet. The music going up and down, the music going up and down, the music going down. And we'll have balloons and videotape it 9-incher to 9 inches. What a way to go, blow. And near the ski lift of masks in animals low, come in snow balking of H.H. Bungalow, with black capes and blacker caper, with or without the taper, the music going sideways. And in snide way she said, or he said, do any animal object to talk this woman out of her strife? And if I am correct, do you take this woman's life and horsey go round to Timbuktu in bed? Pure-blooded stallion with gold-blooded medallion in horsey doodah day? I do. I don't, I will, I won't, I can't, I shan't, I rave, I rant. If she repeats only the pattern of the moon, I'm liable to lose my shirt and insanity soon. Do you take this woman animal in law, a Sicilian cannibal of flaw, for better or curse, for better or Atlantic City biddy? As a gamble against any rational preamble, the music going up and down, the music, the image fading, I woke up. Season's greetings. Support your local cow. You'll be considered a chauvinist now. Grating at the nerves, Vogue's feminism, power, education, exposure, womanism. I could care less. More or I love the girlies, all I guess. Political, social, economy baloney. I've always loved their right to vote, and let them bring home the bacon, and they can have the money. Honey, get my goat, because I'm going to marry Fatima Maloney and grow my blue beard big and wear a wig and sig the pig sick, sick. I don't know what gives you that right, said the girl from Princeton in the night. I don't know either, Esther. And she didn't answer. Life, like poetry, seems to come from camp involvements, meaning you collective weaklings go to hell. I've always hated that way. You show up and ring the bell. Dogs licking each other's ear in damp resentments, and saliva drips downward towards the flea. Or your knee, she said. What's he trying to say? I can hear you. No K out and add F-U-C. You. In truth, she said, love is everywhere. And I added, love is everything. And she said, I do love, and I agreed with her, like Mr. Milquetoast, and slid her into the oven, apple in her mouth. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Yes. Unfair dumpling. Dumpling found it in the street with red light bulb red. Buddy, let me tell you story without any glory. Serrated at the edges in my passionate elite fashion. Fine for her. In petite passion flower. At any rate, I knew her well, says Sheena of the jungle. Hey man, where is yo going? I am going to take a shower. How about you? Are you? Tonight I'm free. Just got out of jail. Tomorrow I'm at cost. My pimp says. And at the Russian tea room, if I can remember, she sat one seat away from me pretending not to notice. If you live by the Blitz, you die by the Blitz. And it was not in September, and I did it my way, with 2 long drives and 1 touchdown, and that's basically the old rugby play. He's the fan of himself. In and out of bounds, and still 4 seconds left. And apparently the final play in Thanksgiving Day. I love it. Home is where the heart is, and Saturday and the gang will get the money. There'll be room for 3 of us, and I'll drive and overdrive, she said. Honey, we can't survive unless you take a kidney. Sydney's got the biz. Who's Sydney? Higgly, piggly, diggly, my friend Socks went to bed with a Canadian fox. Who's Sydney, she said. He walked up with fades spread from cat to cat, spread by the black fly or Spanish fly with AIDS. Who's Sydney? How would I know? In you and fan of aesthesia? I've got to get some exposure. Have you tried Central Park? She said, or reading Don't Smoke here. In your poetry at McDonald's library. A chick here and a chick there. Everywhere a chick, and I do declare, pentameter, perimeter, pentameter, and bona fide imploded in like a dynamited building twice. As sad, I said. Amaryllis belladonna, my pastoral sweetheart. Bells on her fingers, bells on her toes, the perfect flower and rings in her nose. I cannot linger, the smell all is to me. Mozzarella catch a fella, by his fingers stop the obscenities, or on his toes mozzarella parmesan. We can eat pizza all night long. Funny how that haunted me, the street language, my sadness, assuages, mozzarella, parmesan. We can eat pizza all night long. Who's kidding who? Under whose roof? The wops in Brooklyn are dangerous goof. Mozzarella, parmesan. We can eat pizza all night long. Maybe the wops were being taunted. She said, I never thought about Pavarotti being a wop, she said. Wop's not listed in the dictionary, and I'm not daunted, she said. We must get some gas for the Maserati. Diabetes makes the mouth dry. She said, we must get some gas for the Maserati. I said, whop, means to whack, strike a blow. She never looked at me again, slow down. Here, curve ahead, my forehead shining, the knack this gal had for turning corners on 2 wheels. I thought we were goners, shooting the short gap like ape man Sweeney. He was Nalmini, T.S. Eliot, she said. I never looked at her again. Remember the time in Brooklyn, Sicilian and girls are good-looking? No, but the time you asked for 2 Sicilian slices? No, and the guy paid no attention to you, couldn't read, understand, and the other guy said, 2 squares, my friend, 2 squares. Me remembering only Ape Man Sweeney, and I said, okay. Then she called and said, in 4 weeks I'll come and be with you. I bawled the next 3 weeks, me thinking rum, no scum off my back, baby, tears like raindrops. But it did hurt, her making all to do about nothing. And them sentimental slops everywhere set me to calling the pigs Suey, Suey. Tap, 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 tap. I looked up blind as a bat. The cane extended from subconscious cerebellum, the house for the blind, looks blind. Rats, she should have known. I did not tell him. He was no king. The crone lay on the eye of the throne instead of the flower. The blind lead the blind. From summer's shower she could not have known about the bone. But as she said, he was the only artist in the family. I did not care, one way or the other. So why should I bother? Tap, 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 tap. The mirage came closer, looking like Odilion Radon, and a purple face, one eye extended beyond all grace. The monster image, still cooking. He yelled, raved, ranted, and no one listened. Okay. He wondered if the world had lost focus. Nothing figured, checking business out. Trading was moderate today. Weather was moderate today. She, as usual, was immoderate as always. He was, in memory, as monk. With back against Chinese walls, stone wall to truth, kept erect as Confucius. Buddhistic, Li, fat, emeralds, as eyes in chunk, lunking against all mankind, womankind in blind rage, the sage of Satan's fall. A tempestuous sword from the Big Apple. But Eve failed to show up. Eden was lost on the eve of the snake. The rake's progress showed no progress. And as his father had warned him, you'll never grow up, a practical sort of God's word or verbal pineapple, blowing himself to all kingdom dumb, come. And they came, out of the woodwork, hand-tooled, hand-fooled, tap, tap, the raven, the Poe, the altar, ego, sap, tap, tap, the blind leading the blind, just as good jerk Bruegel had told them. Tap, tap, no quirk, a diabolical diablo, tap, tap. Or parabolical parabola, tap, tap. I did not see who won. The cockroaches versus conservative woman. The roach woman mare became sun, the future, the dream died, bone bare done. And the rose grew. 7 times 42. Feet were aching me at that point. The eggs stampeded the cause, rode rampant. All those silly cowboys aching in joint, and the house came down with applause. From the absence of the Midwest Santa Claus. And the royal rose grew, tap, tap, and the egg was laid on top of the keg, tap, tap, and the meadow smelled sweet at Snow White's lily white feet, tap, tap. I fainted and awoke, eyes full of flowers smoke. The blue horses of Franz Marc wandered in circles beyond the poem's part. And there I was, no return from the wind, tap, tap, and there was no return from the wind. I had been talking esoterically, philosophically, finitely, symbolic, and astrolenically inclined when she said studies show women and men are different. It has been found, according to NYC studies, that women use different colors than men artists. On the level of the animal, ascending the subconscious from animal to material, to spiritual lines or relative, me nodding, pretending not to notice, her boobs, sticking out at 45-degree angles. Honey, 'tis all in the horny verbal superlative, her raising her eyebrows to infinity. Quick, sweet, the smack of her lips, you're going to kiss a lot of frogs before you get rid of this sweet princess. But she was 37 at Mama's Thursday trips, looking at the Master Oil's Triumph debog. A lot of strokes for different folks. Senseless, I say. Form is the only concern of color. Artists, when creating it, don't know it. Otherwise, why would they do it? Drab, my dear, spare me your credentials d'allure, meaning doldrums, doleful, dolesome, color. These abstract quacks are like female black ballers. Never. Really abstract but lousy hog collars. Senile, sterile, vacuous, benign, virile, innocuous. Suey, suey. Your squeals so true to me. Truffles and trifles, a mouthful without any snout rooted. Looted her mud lips with brown-nosed philosophy tooted. It's like Russian roulette with loaded rifles. Or as on 14th Street subway walls, graffiti written in innocuous, anonymous scrawls. Swiggers are different and definite, proof that Indians fucked buffaloes. That's not nice. I know it. Did you say so? Did I say so? Subtlety isn't a tool of the masses or anti-Semitic fools without verbal destructive classes. Like from A to Z at your local A&P grocery store. I said, "Do you take master charge?" She said, "I haven't in the past." Rhythm line 4 with rhythm line 6. Money versus the master blackballer woman pen strike. The words missing is whore in the best plans of mice and men. Crawl down the hole and Shakespeare stinks. In English, profanity can't be heard after 2 drinks. The middle class, the stage class, so common, so droll, throw in the verbs as adjectives and shake up the bowl in the troll. Yo speaks euphemistically. All's out's the other way to go. To assure for success, the monster of finesse, who said the mental picture is difficult? She said the physical dragon hides in the valley of dolls. He said the bear lumbers, dances, toys, then mauls its prey in snow. But the monster of Loch Ness, what a way to go. But the monster of Loch Ness, prey, snow, just got a call from Richard Sloat, attends the figurative alliance moat. No sweat off our back, honey. Goats, but the pigs and piranhas. Gets my throat, chokes, wants me to talk on process of portraiture, show slides for 1.5 human heads instead of portraits per hour. But the valley of the dogs did bark, and the lonely creature lay down near the park to sleep, mumbling creeps, no crepe, Suzette. And Susan of the net took in the tuna fishes, darting like fireflies and eating knishes. Heads upon heads, heads upon tails. On December dark nights, the skyscrapers, dark and ominous, hang heavy as illusion of giants. Cold steel rots the nerve, and the psychological verb taunts me time into submission subliminous on December dark nights. I look up, and the Empire State Building looks like a locket, a silver heroin needle or rocket, to be shot to the deflowered moon like who's fix, who's in a pickle, or sock it to me, baby, but no liar. And they hung around his house like images, human heads without talking, souls suffering from another time. What time? Some time, without time, to correct a mistake of all time. Heads floating in a lake of sea of images. portraits of nobodies, portraits of somebodies, portraits of would-be bodies without heads, portraits of everybody's limbs in bed, portraits of dead bodies and nothing said, portraits of dead heads, blackheads, with makeup on, cloudy and foggy, vodka rained, and I on still this gross headache portrait, eyes, mouths, nose rearranged, nose of Sartre resartus, no place to hang one's hat, Carlyle on, but grandmother's hat rack was solid oak, Argyle socks hanging. But speaking of the distorted pudenda, it has long been my observation, and contrary to Gray's Anatomy, that Jack and Jill did go up the hill, not to get a pail of water, but to proliferate, propagate my daughters like the bush 'tis better, and two birds, and sung obituary. Who's Sidney? Who's Eulinda? What absurd innuendo, she said, as Maggie said. We could use more formal instruction, true. Also more talent, true. Or more elbow grease, or more mental comprehension, or more etc., etc., or more physical release, or more heavy symbolic representation blue, or more red. Heavy, she said. Or more yellow, or fucking yellow-livered students. He's a violent one when awakened. O'Leary, O'Malley, O'Reilly, O'Sally, see Dick run. And in New York Times, the heads of the students, from sun to sundown, in Get My Gun, the heads were severed at the Fart Students' League, or leg, but spring assumed a triangle preamble in winter hung on, in academic grays, out or out bludgeoned, and on nebulous clouds were forming, and art is always alarming, if it's done right, patriotic, as in Saskatchewan. But the blue bear of the Blue River, blue is my favorite color, true, she said. I hate the mediocre nuances of blue. Blue Psyche, the girls you paint art not blue, true. They art red, and love thy bed, watching her hair split over her forehead. Sue, how much do I count the ways? In the forbidden triangular days, her head, in three-quarter European profile, slanted to the right, spit curl showing defiled jawbone, tattooed and slightly bruised neck with bite marks, savagely inclined obtuse an angle of her longing, her delight. Light your candle, invite me more tonight. Me getting nervous, me quivering like water off a duck's pipe. But she waded in the water where the flower grew knee-deep and in trouble. Like Rembrandt's woman waiting, the petals scent drowned in his nostrils, biting or baiting. That water, son, seeks its own level. And the dragonfly hung its wings and power at the edge of the giant magnolia, and the night swallowed its scent. Quite right, white, a sight before the note was sent. Like I told you. Like I told you, this sounds like poetical fiction without anthropodial diction. So true, 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 true. Fragrant as the sky 'tis blue. An American species, large pink purple flowers, the grandiflora blossom of the swamp, and not facetious, magnoliaceous. And the log hog appeared, in love with the word hog, both grabbing for all's hog's worth, but the die hog continued to argue with the word hog, and in the alphabetical swamp, in and about damp resentments, the hunters came and slayed the game, and the dog's girth measured 7 times 40 glue. But the load hog had escaped with the word hog out of the swamp, onto 42nd Street Elite, into jammed symbols, lights, taxis, and fights, and blikes flashing in tights and beating on jungle drums, with pink tongues, pink gums, and analytical comes, and in ecstasy. The load hog married the word hog, and they had little hogs, pigs dropping words and loads of piglets, in kinky tails and pinky bells and slinky autumn bells, bore or born of wild boarism, in sheep's pessimism. The moral of the story is, in the twist of a screw tail, nonsense. That's just pure nonsense, she said. Another day, another caller. Hot under the dollar, the philanthropist thought of a particular painting, titled "The Empty Space is the Head," or "The Ambulance Driver is Dead." Not like the artist, the painter, the misanthropist, interstitched in image, intersexual, mythology gone rampant and disease, a masterpiece of malefic intent, if you please. Images below the belt, or anti-rectal in intellectual master whole, anti-effectual. Rectus, rectum, rectorial, rector, enemies on call of the victorial sector like flowers out his ass. He sat alone, with the loneliness of his kind, head upright and snooty, bound to duty, swearing off alcohol and poetics in the darkness swallowed him, and in Archangel, in Angelica, atro, puria, angelical, angeletic, archangelical, archbishop, archdeacon, diocese of archdiocese, and all hail Mother Mary, and bless Brother Harry, and the Harry Who's of Chicago, and their Harry horrors in Diagolith, or the Harry words of Protagolyph, love of the prologist, love of the practical, love of love, or final love of love's symbolical, portraits of love of the protagonist, and he took a trip without a word quip, had a cousin named Skip, and buried the lip in Protodeum, like Procrustes and Procrustean, Proctoprotodeum. Can you change the subject? Yes, I can change the object abject to objective, objective to subjective, and stick with asjective, spelled ass, double S, jective. Get the point? No. But I guess she did, she said. Winter trees, ice-bound bare, bones, death's glare, follows me in dream and light sleep, and you keep jumping over the stile, in style, bob like sheep, full of Sicilian, always to sleep. Winter trees and all leaves, winter trees, space of wind, cold blasts of Arctic air, skeletons of mind frozen to time, memories of girls lost there, memories of names of yesterday's flames, memories of dames of passion to games, memories of trunks twisted by the wind, black and all leaves, and the streets that cross like tic-tac-toe, Mondrian playing chess with Michelangelo, crosswords at the crossroads, of steel beams, boss loads of laughter and anger, and death bones of the trees, still black and no leaves. Winter trees snaking through, winter trees skinny and blue, winter trees like earthworms and frozen, winter trees cheaper by the dozen, winter trees wrapped as leftovers without leaves. Cro-Magnon man without a kiss, Dardone dog without a lisp, Crow-de-fou, Crow-de-guerre, in need of love and one gold star, a broken heart and one croissant. You come a long way, baby, in leaves, so far as I can tell you, one to wondering. The street lights shimmer, as in chauffeur, black minuscule figures in dance and raindrops. Umbrellas, shadows of normalcy and demure, imaginings pale and gaunt and wet with solitude. The picture was complete. Elle tremped the oil and lewd when the black clouds cleared, the rain stopped. Cro-Magnon woman says, "What's this?" Dardone dog barking his fool head off and pissed. Crow-de-fou, Crow-de-guerre, a broken eye and one gold bar, in need of love and one olive branch, my dove waving, flying beyond the stench. The street lights glower, and in a pinch, white Macs I school, figures in trance and sunshine, black glasses highlighted in deviancy and frivolous. Realistic, strong and full and dry with multitudes, the negative was incomplete, like Trump the oil and shrewd, when the white clouds covered the sun's kind. Cro-Magnon baby with tit of pig said, "Goo goo gaga, where's the apple in the fig?" Studies show that men of a defiled nature hang the studies. Life is life, and knowledge is retractable. Life, though, is an open book. A scientist with details stuck in front of nature means nothing to me. If I did not look, I can't help it, she said. And if I went to college, to go to college is one thing, my dear. To carry the textbook around as one's heart is another. She said, "Heart?" He looked at her heavy hair surrounding her skull, not knowing whether to sever her ear off or work over the brain's interior. It's an inferior process, to say the least, this pretty-eyed, two-legged beast. But studies show that men of a defiled nature have a tendency to be of a brutal nature, she said, sliding out of her skirt and tossing her bra forward, me thinking question marks. But not for long. Dawn grew like song, incomplete, the first stanza versus the second stanza, spitting out the realities of nightmare, the image of escapism, the bondage of tapeism. More 'tis more, even in female bondage types, 37, 24, 35, strange statistics. I don't know how that affects us in New York City. It doesn't, I said. I don't know how that affects us in New Jersey City. It doesn't, I said. Blue mood, blue moon, winter trees, and not too soon, born under the harvest moon of gloom, and not announced too soon. My blue baby, pacifier and strong as babe blue ox, the blue hounds, red ahead of the red-tailed fox, purple in love and unorthodox. Danger, hard hat, area, no place for white man to go in hysteria. She said all clocks' hands leave fingerprints near the water's peppermint. We pulled it too before going to school, an apple dandy with cotton candy. I always had a sweet tooth for a boy named Andy in Willard Roof. But I never liked Shakespeare, ugh, forsooth, she said, my dentist says I should pull my tooth before I take up the profession of enameled sleuth. Miss Shakespeare, Miss Sherlock, in truth you goofed. Whose jobs are easy to find before you find them. He got hired, sired by the conventions of the time, a speedster lost to clocks per minute, an interesting soft shoe act from vaudeville, updated in Times Squares, applaudville, cool, calculated, and equated in time's contention, something like Chaplin, something like Max Sennett, Moss, Flan, Crass, F-A-L-N, Crass, Fathers After, Lisa, New Hooligan, bombs placed at banks, bombs placed in water tanks, bombs placed in truth, bombs placed in her feminist sleuth, bombs placed in computers, bombs placed with tutors, bombs placed in Anna Helena Delacroix's purple dancing socks, bombs placed, oh let me count the ways, oh my love. As in foggy nights or painting strange carousel, music floated skyward, horses, dragons, bears, and wagons, music pumping up and down or iward, wood carved by salt, sea and paintings, or saints' ratings, debatable, insatiable ravings, red rantings, images carved, images starved, from in childhood, an imagination healthy in infatuations, wildwood carved, to Mother Neptune in mystery, wood carved to Papa Poseidon, in meridian, wood carved to animals, fishes, and amphibians, music orchestrated in colors to top of tent, renting the air, renting the night air, like fantasy, violet, pink, blue, purple, red horses, yellow, blue, green, bled, bed horses. The ride stampeding in mind of kind of personal travel with the gods fine, the final gold chariot racing in Milky Way and all stars out in the ink pot night, to up and down, up and down, up and down the ride with one spirit, folly or sound, bedaggle me the clown with one red nose, riding so close to the ground her toes, her skirts flew back like chimney swift out of the blue, and her head tilted black in laughter, mouth open, horsey's mouth closed, horsey's bare with open gesture, paws open, mouth open, painted red like lipstick, sensual and closed. Sex of the open paw or hoof, sex under the canopy and the roof, silver gray, silver black horses, brown spotted and polka dotted, one with white manes, one with no names, one with black manes and whinnying in shame, with hoofs lifted and spirits gifted, and dragons crawling near the moon at random near the lion's seat and wagon, like the first time I heard it, or the last time. Music, 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 head swirling in waves of the Atlantic, drowned in ludicrous enigma, ridiculous. The final ride with fantasy's bride, spectaculous, or ride upon ride, or who tarries, lost in Atlantis, like the child bride by the giant praying mantis, down and up, riding in saddles or bareback cups, lace and lights, panties and tights, turning all colors in the night to music, 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 and little children so happy I think they're sick, but on and on the carousel circle turns. This ride is for heroes and little girls, waving in glee at parents in the 20th century. Sick, 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 riding a mathematical instrument, arcs per minute, arcs per angle, arcs per illusion, arcs under the stars of imagination's contusion. Stirrups, saddles, and bizarre cradles, riding always in time and sound, hoofs drawn down out of one's head and into one's heart, 2 feet above the ground. Beige, gray, and apple bay horses, palomino and dapple gray horses, jumping, bumping, bucking from the feeder's ladle, rearing, clearing, steering free from each other's stump, the lion about to bite the tiger's rump. In ice cream cones flying out of children's hands go whump. Hey, hey, let go of my cotton candy. And when I grow up, I'll be an artist or dandy. Up and down and up in the carousel and merry-go-round of Asbury Park, and near the beach they sold the horses for $13,000 each. You're mad, she said. Yeah, I said, but my son's gonna like it or lump it. And they played and sang Christmas carols softly in the December night, while he wrestled the word and writ in rhyme the crimes, the cost of the bard's flight. In the December night and trees with no leaves. December the 11th, 1984. Top salesman leaps to death from 31st floor. Reminder of 28 Wall Street flower crash where all flowers failed flowers. More stench of the flowers, love, in money, power, petals falling with petals. The ultimate smash of all petals, armies bower. Armed among the daisies, walking full out, with linked briefcases, future men stalking with BVDs, fruit of looms glued to the hilt, in lilting fashion clink along, parenthetically, briefer than passion of money's fashion, apparently angry, apobelic, and apologetically, yet on the make among the flowers faltering, Hortense, queen of the swamp lilies, failed me, he said. But life is, persevere, persevere, and be of good cheer, 'tis the season's punishment, and look here. I find myself in Hoboken Terminal sweet shop, and long ago the tooth's fallen out, and stop it, my sweet, on those dark December nights, like it or not, the absence of leaves, sugar's harvest, and the deceased. But, she said, what about the flaw? There's got to be, Shakespeare, a flaw. And I don't take no for an answer. Any disease is better than cancer. I looked at her, black nails and pearly white. You're cramping my style, so make light. Besides, I can't eat with girls so daffy. Then poached, well done on English muffin, and eggs, bacon, and coffee for breakfast, and taffy, baby boo. I'll give you a clue. It's camping, my style and your due, so don't push me. Poopsie pie, I thought I'd die. When you took a bite out of sight, selectable of Frank's delectable and discreet, pig for the first time, not larger than dime, petite. Did you ask me why? Would I rather fight than switch? And if the Purdue Franks were just a bit chicken, a full well worth it or old-fashioned fig's foot, back to the pigsty. If you're inclined to black is beautiful, tan is grand, but white is the color of the big boss man. As in foggy days, lazy, hazy ways of winter, street of auto insurance and pack shack, no place to be caught, George, across the railroad track, wid back to small squall, wall, or stop of brick church. Man with hat on said, "On my lunch," and lurched forward as conductor took ticket back, and no leaves. And life's not well worth it. Struggles dime a dozen, and my cousin, what a scream, always rooting for the home team, not knowing the Bones win, she said. You shouldn't have. I said, I know it. But the splinter in Queens Boulevard, in Software Center, in Dante's Tuxedos, absurd night, about 1 hour inferno of slick black white dummies and flour. Who could get caught here? In Queens means he's dead or laid. Horizontal in Swartz's brother's crypt, Gyp. Forest Park chapels, can't see forest for the bodies. Had no money. Final departure. Among the trees. What made you say it? The flaw remains impeccable. He's not too smart. You mean too smart. What difference does it make? You opened your mouth, Bill, cuckoo, caw-caw, her raven eyes black, Asher triangular heart. You're a piece of cake, I said. She said, shit, don't start it. Please take the bar exam, you gopher, cramming for the Stolenaica, to remain sober, scooting across the boulevard, frizzy high heels, hair car ahead of us, peeled rubber Dante, here wouldn't be caught dead, in hillside bedding, yellow sign bed. And she said, let's do it. Spelled D-E-W. And it will be a conceptual piece. Photos of us in front of the Green Dragon seat. And I'll wear a veil and you'll wear your Levi's, and we'll have pictures of the horses, please. In front of red, black, pink horses' mouths. And no horseshoes to speak of. And we'll get married in Asbury Park. And after the marriage, the DH factor, me reviewing verbatim Dr. Adler's words, an alcoholic and slightly obese, a goose 'tis fat, Tor isn't, instead of hospital gown, should have worn chemise, his infantile words slightly missent, Taz Canadian honkers, information, V-line from here to eternity's island. Love it, she said. Put the flaw in your craw and hump it, I said. I could just see you walking through the snow, thinking you were all pure and all, or thinking I had yelled at you, or lower blow having drank Bailey's cream, and Grand Minor, or B. Sing, me in all out guessing me sure, you as Hamlet. What happened to the lame E? Hamlet had no limp. Baby, black cup and gold, don't scold me. Fool, I fold the box over in the green mints, in green box cardboard corrugated with silver tints. Do you want Mr. Coffee, tea, or me? I've been round the world sucking the gold mint so much for that, sister. My grandmother used to make flowers out of oranges. Me realizing I never heard that one before, in blue she peeled the skin back, me thinking flowers. In Oklahoma in 50s, to peel an orange meant out of the orange grove, man. Then she said, yellow sun, constructed to Vitsy, yellow worlds, given over to history, yellow head, God, Amun-Ra at the spa, yellow bed, room at Arles, yellow bodies exercising in one green ear, and no Gillette, blue blades, blue beard. On Wednesday nights is Prince Spaghetti Day, me looking at her gams. Honey, horny doesn't take Phi Beta Kappa to read this. waiting for gal in from Paris. An old lady like death in street, with concave ankles and dead feet, staggered up under the street light and picked the parking meter to the right and exited her subconscious river, and unconsciously son, the astute, aloof, and moral. Like the old man slumped against curb, he didn't listen to his papa. You can make life interesting or uninteresting. Little red uphill, I think I can train. Develop your own instincts, and curb that social instinct to slough off. All right, that's the second posting. We're at page 57. So that's the second post, the second audio verbal reading of Sex Icon, a Blue Poem. And the next one will be 57 to page 81. And all of these poems, page to page, make only one blue poem. Again, this book was written in 1984-5 and published in 85 by Carousel. I also had published additional poetry books, 130 Mentatalia, 1 or 2 Black Truck, 3 Mr. Wiggly Comes, and 4 with 69 images below the belt. Those will be following also in certain posted sets to get the verbal audio spoken word out. Again, the front cover is this. And the back cover of the original publication is this. So there it is, the second reading of Sexicon, a Blue Poem by Philip Lawrence Sherrod, poet.